serious question. Do you ever pluck your nose hairs?
Yes. I actually graduated to actually using tweezers instead of my fingers.
What? You use your fingers? How do you use your fingers to
get in there and just get to ripping them out, baby? Just and the tears start streaming.
I've never used my fingers for that. I don't know how you do that. That's some real man shit.
Man over here.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here.
I don't know how you did
but
that.
I cry like a little girl.
Because I've been using tweezers for a long time. I always cry every time. It's not just crying, it's jumping up and down at the same time. Like, ah! Like, you know, like when Mario falls into a thing of lava and he goes, Hello, people. I am Jaby KOAY, joined by SYNTELL KOAY.
What's cracking, baby?
And we're looking at Beer Biceps encountered a ghost while dating a girl. Real scary story. SYNTELL is a pessimist when it comes to ghost stories.
Don't do ghosts.
Most of the time, he's like, I don't buy it. There's a reasonable explanation of some kind. But I can get into it. I can get into it because I've had my weird ghostly experiences. So let's get into it together. Y'all, thanks so much for joining. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, bell icon, all notifications, and pretty please vote this sucker up. Let YouTube know you're enjoying what you're watching. Let's jump into this. Here we go.
Have you had any experiences with witchcraft at all?
No, not really. I would not say that.
Okay. And then that's a story for the next time. I have a story. I've actually been at the receiving end of witchcraft for a moment.
What did happen?
Okay, we're getting there?
Yeah,
I thought I'll leave it for the next time.
Let's have it.
Okay, so
He's like, I'm not going to tell it.
I went on a date, like it was off of a dating app. This happened 3-4 years ago maybe. First date, it was fine. I made it clear that I didn't want anything romantic, but I was open to meeting again. As in, I didn't want a casual relationship also. Lots of people use dating apps to just kind of get to know new people, and that was my intention. So I met an older person. I didn't pick up anything the first time I met her. I was also I'd just broken up, so I was rebounding, I think. Wasn't really looking for anything, but I just felt a normal, good conversation. The second time I met her, she said that I had a lot of fun the last time, but I can't believe that you didn't observe something, because the first time I met her, we spoke about spiritualism, we spoke about these larger than life concepts, you know, intuition, things like that. She's like, your intuition didn't pick up that I'm kind of into witchcraft? So then I said, no, not really. But I also got interested in terms of what is going to happen here. Okay?
Yo, what is wrong with men? Why? Why are men like this?
I'm not mad at him, though.
This is one of those things where when women say all men are stupid, I go, maybe you have a point. This is like Patrice O'Neill once said, a guy will talk to any woman. If a woman's in a garbage pail, he will go, hey, woman, why are you in that garbage pail? Like, no, leave her alone. Jesus, walk away.
I'll back a year or two before this happened. I have a friend who is a strong psychic. He's a high-level psychic. He's a good friend of mine. When we were in a part of Delhi once upon a time, and he claims that Delhi is one of the most haunted places because it's one of the oldest cities in the world, technically. And it's seen a lot of battles over centuries. So he claims that there's a lot of angst and pain in Delhi because of the ghosts of the people and all that. So sometimes when I'm just walking with this guy in Delhi in the daytime, he'll start doing this. He'll rub his hands like this, and then he'll loudly clap. Okay. And he'll continue rubbing his hands. And the first few times he had done that in front of me, I looked at him and asked him, why are you doing that? And he said, no, it's nothing. And he'd keep doing this at some other part of the road. So then I bothered him, I asked him, why are you doing this? And he said, I'm sort of just creating a protective field. I'm like sending things away. That's all he told me. I don't even know what that means.
You ever have that where you know something's weird, someone's doing it? No, nothing, man. Nothing. This is not related at all to scary stuff, and I know I'm interrupting the vibe. I'm sorry. I just have to. You remember Michael?
Yes.
Okay, so he and I went to some screening, and we ran into an old friend of mine who was like clearly like limping, and I'm like, yo, what happened to you? He's like, what? I go, you're limping. He's like, no, I'm not. Because he was so adamant that he wasn't limping, I just got afraid of pissing him off. And I was like, okay. And Michael was like, he was limping. I don't know why he said he wasn't limping. And so he's going, this guy's He's doing this thing. It's like, what are you doing? Nothing.
Yeah, because I'd have been like, hold on, wait a minute. What is this? What's that mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Are we in danger?
Yeah, exactly.
You need to talk to me so I can dip.
I'd have just started imitating him at a certain point. If he kept doing that every time he clapped, I'd be like, just like a little beat to go with it.
Now let's come back to this story. Now this girl, I was on sort of, I won't call it a date, but I was meeting her for the second time and that shop was shutting. So she's like, okay, what do you want to do now? So I said, let's go somewhere. So then she told me, okay, let's go to Juhu Beach or this particular part of Bandstand.
That does not look
or
right.
this particular part of Carter Road. You know that part of Carter Road there? Now the weird thing is, I've had a conversation with that same psychic friend about these 3 locations that she named. And he said that he's had some kind of ghost encounters in those 3 locations. So a normal person would have said, no, I don't want to go with you and I'm going home.
Yeah.
I wanted content. So I said, okay, let's do this.
Don't get killed for content.
So we decided to go to Carter Road.
Ain't that deep?
Now we got off on Carter Road and we decided to walk along the promenade. And it was relatively empty as compared to what it is normally. Okay. Now we're walking and maybe 10 seconds, 15 seconds into walking, this woman does this.
Oh my God.
And then I'm on high alert a little bit. I don't know what she's doing. So we keep walking. And we sit down on this particular part of Carter Road where there are people, but it's still got a slight creepy vibe. I don't want to name what part of Carter Road it is because it might cause a lot of frenzy online. But it's a populated part. So we're sitting there. I go into my spiritualism realm, okay? Because I've had occult experiences in my life which I've spoken about on the show as well. I've had a very strong sleep paralysis experience which turned out to be something real eventually, as in someone else another psychic had come to my house and told me that yes, the experience you had was real. So I've dealt with these things before, according to me. And the way I'd come out of it was through mantra chanting when I was a kid. Someone taught me a mantra which had worked for me. Now I knew that I'm dealing with another occult experience here. So when I sat down with her, in my head I'm just doing a mantra jap to sort of protect myself. It was the same mantra jap that had helped me as a kid. Now while I was sitting with her, we were just having a very loose kind of conversation. It was interesting, but it wasn't really interesting. There was small talk. And she wasn't really talking much through this. For some reason, I was talking a lot in the same way that I'm doing now. You know, she'd ask me a small question and then whatever, I'd give her something. And then she'd always end it with like a yes or no kind of question where I would have to answer in a yes or no. And as I kept talking to her, I must have sat there with her for like half an hour. I just kept feeling more and more dizzy. And I didn't know what the fuck is going
my
on.
God, it's like a get out.
I just felt a strong gut feeling to leave from there after half an hour because I was really I was feeling tired or dizzy. I don't know what it was. So I told her, okay, I'm going. I booked her an Ola. I booked myself an Uber. Okay, we're going in 2 separate directions. When I sat in the Uber, I'm still feeling dizzy.
Yo, the sound effects
I hadn't
be killing
told
me.
anybody, not my co-founders, not my manager, nobody, not my teams. Now the psychic friend calls me samne se.
Oh God.
Okay, and he's like, who are you with? So I'm like, why?
Calls coming from the house.
He said, no, just tell me who you with. So I said, just I met someone. He's like, I strongly feel someone's done something to you. There's some kind of dark aura on you. What have you done? And then I told him that this happened. So he said, okay, wait. He gave me a mantra. He texted me something. And he told me, wherever you are right now, meditate in that vehicle and just focus on that mantra. And I swear to God, my head was spinning in that vehicle as I was meditating and I was doing that mantra. I didn't know what the happened. When I went home, he told me some more things. He said, have a salt water bath and all that. Have you heard of the salt water
salt
bath?
water is quite common.
It's supposed to wash off negative
Cleanse
energy.
the aura that clings to you.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I am a meditator. I meditate for an hour daily and I've been doing this for years now. That night when I sat for meditation, Now here's the kind of meditation I do, right? Like it's deeply technical and I kind of intuitively know when to stop doing it because sometimes your body isn't ready to go to a deeper level of meditation. So I get an intuition and I gently stop. But on this day when I was meditating, I didn't get out of it gently. Like at the peak of my meditation, I felt like someone took a long pin and just shoved it into my finger.
And you were able to
And
meditate
I have no
with
idea
that
what
feeling?
that meant. I asked
Wow.
him. I think he knew that something was on, but he refused to tell me what it was. He's like, if I tell you, you may not want to meditate again and all, but just forget it and keep meditating.
You start with that.
That was it.
Now I gotta
I never
know.
spoke to that lady again, but I also like kind of cut her off from
It
it.
sounded like some voodoo stuff.
I don't know what it was. And she knew who I was, and I think she was in the quest for fame. That's what
Okay.
I gauged.
Why was she
from
trying to
her.
mess you up then?
And
that
they
ain't
say
witchcraft,
that
that's just,
black
you know,
magic
being
can be used
famous.
to take something that someone else owns and bring it to yourself. Youth, money,
That
fame.
kind of thing.
I don't know what it was. So that's been my experience with witchcraft. In saying that, there is a whole positive angle of witchcraft. There are positive witches in the modern day, and that's a whole other subject.
Recently, I've been watching this other Indian YouTuber a lot named She Has
Okay.
Biceps. And apparently she's into witchcraft. I'm just fucking around.
You said she has biceps?
His name is Beer Biceps, so you missed the joke. Damn, you slow, dude. He's slow on the uptick. We're watching a guy named Beer Biceps. The whole story is she's trying to steal his aura.
Okay, you
Yeah.
watched the girl, Veer biceps.
She has biceps.
Who's the other dude? He said like 3 words. I feel like he's important.
It's a clip from a podcast, so I have no idea. It's like a Joe Rogan clip.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I thought he was gonna be like the medium or something, and be like, oh yeah, this is the answer to that.
This is a clip from a long video.
Oh,
Yeah.
We'll get into that positive thing because there is also a lot to speak. I don't know if you have heard of the village of Mayong in Assam.
No.
So that's believed to be the birthplace of black magic. It's in Assam and
Where in Assam? Is it near Guwahati?
it is near the Kamakhya temple here near Guwahati. So there it's believed that everyone there is a practitioner of black magic and they use it for healing. They use it for healing. There's something in the land that makes things happen. So people with all these kinds of ailments, they go there and there are these tantrics and ojhas and stuff who will do some mantra on you and cleanse you spiritually.
A trip to Assam has been a long-standing wish for this same reason. I wish to explore this world.
There's a lot of mysticism in Assam.
Even other Indian states, Bengal.
You wanna
also
take a
has
trip
lot.
to
That's what
Assam?
I've
Yeah.
heard.
No, I'm cool. I'm not chasing ghosts.
Horror is very popular in Bengal. Horror literature, I mean. Being an author, I know that.
There are parts of me that definitely do believe in things outside of my realm of perception, right? There was a friend of mine, I think you met him. I'd say about a month before a horrible incident happened, I went to this friend's house. It felt like a feeling washing over you of just this feeling of just like paranoia, a feeling of like get out, a feeling of this isn't right. I had that feeling with a lot of different people, but I had it with this mutual colleague of ours. I'd say maybe like a month or 2 later, a horrible incident happened where he was involved with a child that ended up being, we'll just say, died as a result of it. It's one of those things where it's like nature was kind of like being like, you're not able to pick up on the signs that this individual could be dangerous, right? But it felt like something was like, I need you to wake up because you are in a space where nothing good is going to happen. I felt like I was in a really negative kind of space.
Okay.
And I'm not one of those kind of people that kind of like feel on that a whole lot, but I can't deny that feeling. And I definitely can't deny the outcome of what happened like a few months later as a result of him being involved with this child. When I do hear stories like this and people be like, I had this feeling that kind of like came over me that you can't explain. I don't know if it was a spirit warning me or maybe it was some weird biological connection of warning from my caveman reptilian brain. I don't know why I had it, but I do know that the feeling was real.
Okay, so I grew up Catholic, and I grew up with that sort of spiritualism and whatnot being just like indoctrinated into me, right? And I had no say-so in that. And then at a certain point, I discovered science and logic and reason, and I started gravitating towards that and moving away from believing other things. At a certain point, I became agnostic, where I was like, okay, well, I believe something, I just don't know what it is. And so when people hit me with like ghost stories or whatever stories, I'm like, I didn't see it. So I just have your account. I don't know if it's real or not, or if you were like on some shit that you shouldn't have been on. Like, I have no idea. So my only experience, which I've talked about before, if you guys have heard it already, you can fast forward a little bit. But the only experience I've had that's like that, I was like 10 years old at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles before they tore it down. Long story short, I wandered into the kitchen and this weird, creepy feeling just came over me and said, get out of here. Go find people. I was by myself. I ran out of there, out of the hotel. I never went back in the hotel. I didn't know what that was, but it said, don't come back in here. So I didn't. I'm like, all right, let's go. Found out later on, that's where Bobby Kennedy was shot.
Ooh.
I don't know what that means. It could have been a weird coincidence. You know, I'm 10, I freaked myself out. It could have just been that, and it just so happened it was in the same spot someone famous died. Or that death had some kind of residual energy, and it freaked me out. I have no way to prove either one.
That part.
It was an interesting experience, to say the least.
I do believe that there are things beyond our perception. Our five senses are extremely limited. And for me to say that all that is important and clear or can only be evaluated by my five senses, I think to me is personal just arrogance and ignorance.
Yeah.
I think there are things that my eyes can't see, my nose can't pick up, things I can't feel and stuff like that, taste, all that stuff. There's things on both sides of that. If we're talking about things within that space that's beyond my physical perception, I absolutely believe those things do exist. Is it a ghost? Now that where I'm like, I don't know about all that. You know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I certainly believe that the unexplained does happen.
Yeah.
And it happens because we're just not capable of processing whatever that thing is.
Who knows? But feel free to leave your ghost stories or your weird spiritual experiences in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you guys. Maybe we'll do a follow-up video reading your comments, because that would be interesting. Make sure you're detailed. If you're gonna tell a story, tell the story.
You better stick the landing.
And it'll make for some, have a beginning, middle, and end. Have an inciting incident, main character. All right, that's it for now. Follow Beer Biceps. I'm Jaby KOAY. This is...
Ooh, it's your boy, SYNTELL.
And also watch She Has Biceps. Peace out.